I also saw photos circulating of like there's like a baby that was supposed to have happened, and that's why they 100% not true from what I'm told. So yeah.
When people explain themselves to social media, are they doing this because they really want to clear the air, or are they just doing this for their own engagement?
Stop everything. This is not a drill. The silence has been broken by a scream. For weeks, Kandi Burruss painted Todd Tucker as the calculating thief, the ambitious opportunist who used her empire and threatened her children. But tonight, that entire narrative is collapsing into dust. Todd Tucker has finally, violently, and tearfully broken his silence, and the truth he just exposed about the real reason Kandi Burruss divorced him is not about money, not about the prenup, and not even about Fatim. Todd claims Kandi divorced him not because he betrayed her, but because he threatened to expose a dark, catastrophic secret Kandi has been burying for years. A secret so toxic it could ruin her family, her empire, and the entire Bravo network. Todd, weeping uncontrollably, pointed the finger straight back at Kandi, shouting, "She didn't divorce me to save her money. She divorced me to silence the truth."
First 230 said threesomes never work. That's not true. I done had a threesome and it worked just fine.
Would you think that stepping outside the threesome?
Hell yeah, that's cheating.
Okay, so
That's
you
what I
answered the
said.
question.
Like-
She said without telling him, meaning he's not knowledgeable
Sis,
that she's going to get a
you
little
cheating.
shit turned up.
Okay, sis, you cheating. You cheating.
Right, thank you.
What truth is so dangerous that Kandi would burn down her own marriage to keep it hidden? Get ready. The major conflict is the moment Todd, in his desperate video, finally dropped the real reason Kandi filed for divorce. It's a twist so deep and so personal, it dwarfs the Fatim controversy and the tax fraud claims. Todd claims that the final, vicious argument that led to Kandi filing was not about their current businesses, but about a set of unsealed, ancient legal documents related to one of Kandi's biggest, early career successes. Todd, allegedly digging for leverage in the early stages of the divorce, found proof that Kandi fraudulently acquired the full rights to a multi-million-dollar song catalog, allegedly cutting out a forgotten, vulnerable former partner. Todd's voice cracked with a mixture of terror and moral outrage as he recounted the confrontation. "I found the files."
Really, we keep talking about, Lord forbid, if something happened to the both of us, but what if something happened to one of us? And then the other one is still here.
See, and that's where we differ, because
That's where we differ.
you look at me like, you're gonna be.
The original contract. She didn't just sideline that person. She legally erased them, allegedly stealing years of royalties. When I looked at the signatures, I couldn't breathe. Kandi, I looked at her, and I said, "This is criminal, Kandi. I can't look the kids in the eye knowing you built this empire on a lie." Kandi's reaction wasn't legal defense. It was emotional blackmail, confirming Todd's claim that she valued silence over honesty. Todd alleges that Kandi didn't deny the fraudulent contract. Instead, she allegedly dropped the ultimate, chilling dialogue. "You tell the world that, Todd, and I promise you will never see Ace and Blaze again. I will use the Fatim story, the tax story, everything."
Well, it's not that I didn't want to be. I always knew that I would be a mother. I didn't really, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't really grow up necessarily wanting to be a wife. That sounds bad. But just because,
you got some pretty teeth.
Well, thank you.
They're beautiful. Honestly, they really are.
"I will bury you so deep you'll never climb out. I will make you financially and socially extinct." This is the first twist. Kandi didn't divorce Todd because he was a thief. She divorced him because he refused to be an accomplice to her criminal past. Todd wasn't protecting his ambition. He was allegedly protecting his conscience, and Kandi rewarded him with utter destruction. Todd claims he was silent for weeks, not out of guilt, but out of crippling fear that Kandi would follow through on her promise to take his children. But Kandi's legal action to challenge his custody was the final sign that the contract was irrevocably broken. Todd described the final, agonizing scene where Kandi allegedly finalized her choice, in their luxury kitchen, surrounded by their expensive art. "She looked at me, not with love, but with pure business calculation. I begged her, 'Kandi, please, let's just make this right. Confess the truth.' And she said, 'The truth is what I say it is, Todd.' And your truth ends now. That's when I knew. The woman I loved was gone, replaced by the ultimate corporate machine. Fake insider texts flooded the screen, allegedly from Todd's distraught friends. He's terrified. He says she has lawyers tracing every word he says. He just wants the kids. Todd ended this section with a devastating threat aimed directly at Kandi. You wanted me silent? Fine. But you forgot one thing, Kandi. The documents are not just on my laptop. I sent copies to the only person in this world who still scares you. And that person is about to make a public statement that will not just end your career, but potentially land you in a federal courtroom. Who is this terrifying figure? The suspense is unbearable. You in a federal courtroom. Who is this terrifying figure? The suspense is unbearable. However, to provide exactly what you are requesting now, here is a revised version of the major conflict and first twist section, condensed and optimized to be exactly 800 words, while maintaining the extreme suspense, dramatic tone, and viral energy. Intense B-roll of Todd pacing nervously, eyes wide with fear, interspersed with images of old, faded music contracts. The air just ran out of the room. The moment you've been waiting for. The real reason Kandi filed for divorce is here, and it's worse than any affair or prenup fight. Todd, shattered and desperate, revealed that the final, vicious argument that ended his marriage wasn't about money he took. It was about a catastrophic secret Kandi was desperately trying to keep buried. Todd claims that the collapse began when he stumbled upon a set of unsealed, decades-old legal documents related to one of Kandi's monumental, early career songwriting successes. Todd alleges that, during his search for leverage in the custody battle, he found irrefutable proof that Kandi didn't just write the song. She allegedly fraudulently acquired the full rights to the multi-million-dollar song catalog, systematically cutting out and legally erasing a vulnerable former collaborator. Todd's voice broke with a visceral mix of terror and pure moral outrage as he recounted the moment of confrontation. I found the files. The original contract. She didn't just sideline that person. She stole their legacy. When I looked at the signatures, I saw the crime. I said, Kandi, this is criminal. I can't look our children in the eye knowing you built this empire on a lie. Todd wasn't fighting for his money. He was allegedly fighting for his conscience against Kandi's criminal past. This instantly reframes Kandi's entire empire as being built on a foundation of fraud. Kandi's reaction, according to Todd, was not an apology, but a terrifying confirmation of his claims. She allegedly didn't deny the fraudulent contract. Instead, she allegedly retaliated with the ultimate form of emotional warfare, a chilling act of emotional blackmail. Todd claims Kandi looked him dead in the eye and delivered the most chilling ultimatum. You tell the world that, Todd, and I promise you will never see Ace and Blaze again. I will use the Fathom story, the tax story, everything. I will bury you so deep you'll never climb out. I will make you financially and socially extinct. Kandi didn't divorce Todd because he was a thief. She divorced him because he refused to be an accomplice to her decade-old crime. Todd was allegedly protecting his soul, and Kandi rewarded him with utter, televised destruction. His weeks of silence were not guilt. They were crippling fear that Kandi would follow through on her promise to take his children forever. Todd described the final, agonizing scene, the moment the love died and the transaction broke, in their luxury home, amidst the wealth Kandi allegedly stole. I begged her, Kandi, please, let's just make this right. Confess the truth. And she said, the truth is what I say it is, Todd. And your truth ends now. That's when I knew. The woman I loved was gone, replaced by the ultimate corporate machine who valued silence over family. Fake insider texts flooded the screen instantly after this confession, allegedly from Todd's distraught friends. He's terrified. He says she has lawyers tracing every word he says. He just wants the kids. He's risking everything for this. Todd ended this agonizing section with a final, desperate threat aimed directly at Kandi. You wanted me silent? Fine. But you forgot one thing, Kandi. The documents are not just on my laptop. I sent copies to the only person in this world who still scares you. And that person is about to make a public statement that will not just end your career, but potentially land you in a federal courtroom. Who is this terrifying figure who holds the power to expose Kandi's entire fraudulent empire? The suspense is unbearable. The chaos is intensifying. Todd's claim that Kandi divorced him to silence his knowledge of her alleged early career fraudulent contract has already torn the internet apart. But now, Todd reveals the second twist, confirming the horrifying escalation of this scandal. The terrifying person Todd sent the documents to was allegedly not Mama Joyce, not a celebrity lawyer, but an anonymous tip line for a federal investigative agency known for pursuing decades-old financial crimes. Todd's revelation: she thought I would use the documents for a better divorce settlement. She was wrong. I used them to expose the truth. I sent the full file, the original contract, the fraudulent signatures, the banking records, to the authorities. This is no longer a divorce, Kandi. This is a federal case waiting to be unsealed. This twist is catastrophic for Kandi. Her financial destruction narrative is suddenly moot. She is now allegedly facing criminal charges that could put her entire empire, and potentially her freedom, at risk. The public outrage is palpable. She's not just a bad wife. She's allegedly a corporate criminal. The alleged news of a federal tip-off sent immediate shockwaves through the industry. Fake reports emerged claiming the network executive Todd previously accused of cover-up was now desperately trying to distance himself, claiming ignorance. The hashtag Kandi Federal Fraud explodes, quickly dominating social media. Conspiracy theorists point to Kandi's aggressive custody filing as evidence that she smelled the federal investigation coming and launched a preemptive strike to discredit Todd before he could be questioned as a credible witness. The public views Kandi's actions as a desperate attempt to manipulate the legal system. Todd claims that Kandi's reaction to the federal tip was not rage, but a chilling, terrifying kind of panic. He claims Kandi's team is now trying to contact him, not to fight the custody battle, but to negotiate a silence agreement regarding the federal documents. Todd, tearfully but with resolve, she called me, not to apologize, not to discuss the kids, but to offer me money, a ridiculous amount, to retract my statement to the agency. She tried to buy my silence, but she forgot one thing. You can't buy back a conscience. I already lost my family, Kandi. I won't lose my soul, too. Todd's shift from a broken victim to a moral whistleblower makes him the ultimate hero in this narrative. Todd finished the section by stating, "The federal tip has been active for weeks. Kandi knows the walls are closing in, but she's planning one final, desperate move that will affect more than just me. She's targeting the one person who could truly expose her, the former partner she allegedly defrauded. Kandi is trying to finish the job she started years ago." Is Kandi planning to neutralize the original victim of her alleged fraud? The tension is suffocating. The chaos is no longer contained. Todd's revelation of the federal tip-off has created a severe crisis of confidence across the nation. The public is not just reacting, they are in open revolt, and the industry is frantically trying to extinguish the flames of this inferno. The fan base is now overwhelmingly #Team Todd. The narrative has completely flipped. Todd is no longer the greedy husband. He is the moral guardian who risked his freedom and his family to expose Kandi's alleged decade-old crime. Fan debate. Paranoia fans are demanding the federal agency immediately unseal the documents. Conspiracy theories suggest Kandi's aggressive brand expansion and constant TV presence were all financially motivated attempts to cover the tracks of the alleged original fraud. The viral theory is, she's always hustling because she needs cash to keep the lawyers quiet. Mama Joyce's triumphant return. A fictional social media post from Mama Joyce shows her celebrating, but not because Todd is suffering. She is reportedly praising Todd for his moral integrity, confirming that her early dislike was never personal. It was about Kandi's failure to choose honesty. The reaction from within the business community is one of sheer, unadulterated terror. Kandi's empire, built on her brand of trust and business acumen, is allegedly imploding under the weight of the fraud accusations.